Hello and welcome back to Mindspans. My name is Craig and thank you for joining me. I'm going to do another full meditation, guided meditation. And these are my personal visualization journeys. I had so much fun doing it when I was in Italy, and now I'm back in New York in Central Park and it's an absolutely beautiful day, and I said, you know, I'm going to do another one. They're totally different than the sort of scripted guided meditations I do, and they're all edited, and you know, I write all this music and everything's like perfect and whatever. It's fun, it's great if you're in bed or whatever, but if you're just trying to get better at creating these visualization journeys for yourself, these are my own journeys that I take, and they are helping me to get very deep and very focused, and I think it's good to do them in this sort of where there's a lot of people around and there's noise and there's sirens and whatnot, and because what you realize is that just like as if you were in bed and you feel a little uncomfortable or scratch, whatever, you can detach yourself from the noise. You can detach yourself by going inward and focusing, and as you become more focused and more intent on your journey, all this outer stuff just starts to blur out, and if you have any discomfort, it blurs out, and if you're an itch, it blurs out. All this stuff just goes away. So we always start with just breathing, and just taking deep breaths in through your nose. The reason we breathe in through our nose is there are these little circular things that both moisturize and warm up the air, so that the oxygen is more easily absorbed into our lungs. And so we breathe in really deep as you can. Hold it for a second. And when you release it all the way. Get all that carbon dioxide out. And then breathe in again. And as you do this, it tells your brain that you're safe and everything's cool, and it helps you to start to bring yourself down. And imagine like this beautiful, sparkling, colored light, whatever your favorite color is. There's blues and there's greens coming in. And bringing oxygen to every part of your body, every cell in your body. And then releasing it. Making sure no one's stealing my bike. So if I look over there, that's what I'm doing. So we're gonna keep doing that. Keep breathing. And as you sort of settle in, and you can do this sitting or lying down or just walking, whatever. You know, it's just these journeys and in this format is really helping you to build your own journeys and to help you see why I picked certain things and how it helps me and hopefully help you in your practice. And it's all about just elevating your life, right? It's about elevating daily, so that when you start to feel stress, you know how to bring yourself down. When you start to get angry, you know how to bring yourself back and center yourself and allow the emotional waves to flow through you, and you bop over them. And we all get sucked into them, but can you recognize it fast and then right over it? So these practices help you do that, and also these long visualizations really help you go very deep, and then you can start to explore fears or issues and ask for guidance from the universe and all kinds of stuff. So in this one, I use a technique to bring me down that I find is really, really, really helpful. So as I breathe in, I hold it for a second, then I imagine there's like a wave behind me, and that wave, when I breathe out, the wave water comes through, bubbling through my entire body. First, very, very fast. So you don't want to get too engaged with it. Just let it go really fast through you, and you may feel it, you may not feel it. It's fine. The point is you start that way. And we've done this with other exercises. And every time you breathe in, imagine that wave is coming, but not hard or anything. It's just going to come and pass through your entire body. And as you blow out, it passes through you. And it starts from your head all the way down through you to back to your toes and out your fingers. And it's bubbly, bubbly, bubbly. And as you go through this, little by little, go slower and slower. So next time I breathe in, now I want the wave to go a little slower. So it's still going relatively fast, but it's slowed down. And you start to feel it at each place. The bubbles, bubbles, bubbles. And you'll feel some blockages and things, and that's cool, and let that go. And little by little, you slow it down. And as you slow it down, you start to feel it more in each place. And you get more relaxed, and you get deeper. And the water becomes quieter, and your body becomes quieter. And you take another deep breath. And the last wave. And you can do this as long as you want, but for now, this will be our last wave. And it starts, you start to really enjoy it. It's just bubbling through very quietly and very slowly. And as you sink in, and you can quiet your breathing a little bit at this point, and you relax your face and look for anything, any place where you just sort of quick scan through your body. And then to just take us down another level, what I'd like you to do is imagine there are little switches. So we've had our waves, and now they're just switches all over on your shoulders and through your back and the muscles on either side of your spine, your legs, your arms, your fingers. And little by little, you can either start with your head or your feet, whatever. It's different. It's a different feeling, so you should try both and see which one you like, or maybe it's just a different experience to do both. But first, let's say we start with our head, and just turn these switches off, just your mind. And as each switch goes off, the muscle turns off, goes down. And the switch goes down, down, and the switch around your ears, and the switch up to your ears. And little by little, you go very slowly, each place, this little switch. And then around your back, here, switch. And with each time that switch comes down, come down, come down. And keep breathing. And then hit some more switches. And take your time, just go through each little part of your body. Is their chest and stomach switches, your finger switches, elbow switches, and you can do them again. Like if you want to do more switches off, and you go through your whole body like this, your legs, your knees, toes, calves, and little by little, this process is going to bring you down and down, deeper. Relaxing your body. You're not going to notice anything anymore. You're just going to start getting in and in and in. And now that we've come down, we've switched ourselves completely off. We're breathing, the waves have come through. And now we're going to start our little journey. And in this one, it's a really cool one. I started by imagining that I'm in there's like a long pool in sort of a cave, but it's like really nice. It's like got these beautiful lights in the pool, and it's very shallow. It's only 4 or 5 inches, and the water is really pleasantly warm. And I'm just walking to the water, so I can feel that tension of my foot against the water as I walk. And I walk very, very slowly. And for the first maybe 10, 20 feet, it's just quiet. There's these beautiful lights in the water. And you can hear the echo of splashing as you walk. And you move very slowly, Each step, you feel the water pushing against your feet. You feel your foot touching down on the bottom. It could be like a smooth rock, or it could be sand, and you can change that. It's very different. Maybe for 10 feet it's rock, maybe for 10 feet it's sand, however you want to do it. And then there's like a wall, not a wall, but like sort of a barrier, but not like, it's like a demarcation to another part of this pool that I'm walking through. And you can sort of hear the faint, oh, you know, of like monks chanting. And so as you go in this next phase, now you're walking slower and slower, and you hear this line with these cool monks in their robes in all different colors, and they're chanting, oh, oh. And it's just that the vibration of their voices are bringing you down and turning off all the switches, and you're just like starting to feel lighter and lighter as you walk through this area. And you get the sense, you start to get the sense that they're preparing you for something. They're preparing you for the next phase of this journey. They're sort of blessing you, empowering you, charging you energetically. And you feel that. You feel their intention upon you. You feel the vibration of their voices moving through you and energizing you and clarifying you so that you're prepared for the next phase. And as you get towards the end of this, there's just this endless ocean. It's just endless. And the stars are out. All of a sudden you're outside, and it's like some incredible stars everywhere. It's like being on top of a mountain, and there's no lights around, and the stars are just sparkling in the sky, and it's just ocean, this quiet, calm ocean. And I apologize for people who don't swim, because you're going to find this terrifying, but even if you don't swim, because we're totally safe. Like, this is our space, it's totally great, and you're in a bubble and you can breathe and you don't have to feel any fear. And this is, and if you have a fear of this, it's a good time to face it, hug it, and move through it. But we're gonna dive down into the ocean all the way to the bottom, and it's just gonna keep going. You know, we can breathe, we're totally cool. You can swim if you want to swim down, or sometimes I use it like a little ski-doo that is like a propeller that drags me down, and it has that it's really cool sound. And you just go down, and then there's all these, it starts to light up down there, which is opposite of what it normally does. But it's light, so you can see all these beautiful fish, and there's like all these fish, these colors, and they're totally friendly, swimming around you. And it's just amazing. And there are penguins swimming, and dolphins swimming, and even sharks. But they're cool sharks. They're like the happy sharks, and they like you, and they're hammerheads, and they're just hanging out, and everyone's hanging out and helping you on this journey down under the ocean. And you keep going down, and you don't feel any pressure or anything. It's just, you're just enjoying this incredible journey and this incredible wildlife and this amazing things. And as you get down further and further, you start to see like an underground city. Not like a city like with skyscrapers, but sort of, you know, sort of 1 or 2 story circular structures, modernish, what you might see in an underwater movie, some sort of James Bond kind of thing. And so you go down, you go down, you go down, and you see that there's an area where there's a doorway that gets you into this structure. And it's like one of those, it goes, you know, opens up like that. And it's still water, right? So it's still this water area, and then it closes, and then it flushes out the water, so there's no more water. That's one of those hatches. And then the door opens, and you enter this incredibly beautiful place. It's like it's all this big circular area, and it's glass, so you can see all the fish outside, and there's beautiful couches, and just, you know, red velvety couches and beautiful rugs, and it's just this incredible place. And this is a place where I come to learn, actually. I feel I was drawn to this place many years ago. It was just one of the, I do other meditations that are just totally without any visualization, just to see what comes. And this was one of those places that just came up. And I felt drawn to come to this place and to learn at this place. And it's been very powerful for me over the years. So I want to share it with you. So there's an area in the middle where you can go and you sit down, and it's very, very comfortable, and you see the whole outside, the fish, everything around you. And you just sit there quietly, and all of a sudden these beings come. They're not scared. They're totally like the nicest, coolest people. They just sort of show up. And you can ask them whatever you want, or you can just say, what would you like me to learn today, you know? And don't try to impose anything at all. Just try to just really be very, very open. At this point, you're so deep and you're so relaxed and you're completely open. And so don't inject your ego at this point at all. And don't try. You'll be surprised, because nothing will happen, and then all of a sudden you'll be on this new journey, right? And so in this journey, it was the other day actually, and so I'm sitting there, and you know, these people show up, and we're sitting, not talking, but just sort of exploring our mind space. And next thing you know, we're traveling out into the universe. We're out in the galaxies. And we're sitting like in space, just floating around in space and looking at, there's a black hole, and just exploring what it is. What is that? And what is space? And how is it expanding? And how are we part of that? And if space is expanding, then everything in us, which is space, and every atom in us, and every subatomic particle in us is expanding. And some things expand faster or slower. And how does that relate to maybe gravity, or folding space, traveling through time? And the idea of being everywhere at the same time started to evolve. Seeing myself on the other side of the earth, seeing myself over and over again, and moving my perspective from one place to the next instantaneously. And it was really powerful because you start to realize that we have the ability to project our center anywhere on any given place, time, and space. I mean, we choose to be here, but we can also be over here or over here if you allow that to happen. And then you start to realize that what you consider the enclosure of your body, and that your mind or your soul is trapped within that, or is contained within that, is really something learnt in a way. And you can unlearn that, and you can move yourself, move your sense of space, of self, far outside of the confines of what you would consider your physical self. And there's no question that your energy is out. I mean, they can measure your energy. You know, the energy you produce as a unit, as a body, can be measured well beyond yourself. So why shouldn't you be able to then move? And so this is how this evolves, right? So you're in this place, underground, underwater, and you evolve into these incredible journeys, and you'll be surprised because there was one time when I found myself like at the top of the Himalayas, and I was like, have you ever seen like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, where they're sort of dancing on trees and like, you know, like, and it was like that, and then there was this sort of monastery at the top of this mountain, you know, sort of Tibetish kind of thing, and went in there, and it was this incredible monks, and we were talking about space, and it's one of the places where I really started to understand, you know, the emotional waves and how we choose to attach ourselves or not attach ourselves. And that's the concept of attachments, because it's the word attachment, as if you're attaching to a thing, or you're attaching, you know, that you should get rid of things, you know. And that's really not at all what it's about. It's like, it's the attachment to constructs, to emotional constructs, to things that you believe to be true over a long period of time that don't serve you at all. You know, they may have been a reaction to a moment when you were 5 years old or 10 years old or whatever, or yesterday, but don't serve you and have no relevance to your day-to-day existence, and only actually move you in a most likely into a situation where you feel stress. And the whole point of what we do is to not have that stress, is to be happy and to have really enjoy each moment, like really get into it, and so that we really appreciate the life that we have, and be grateful to have each moment, to be born into each moment, and to have love in your heart. So you'll have all these cool journeys, right? And then you say, okay, you'll know when it's time to come back, and you'll start to bring yourself back to this underground palace, an underwater palace, and you'll hang out there for a while, and then you'll head back out and you'll swim, and if you're having fun, you may swim around the fish and maybe get a ride on some of the fish, you know, the dolphins or the sharks and their whales. I mean, it's super once you're in that space, you're so deep that you can sort of do whatever you want. And sometimes it's a good place to kick off into, like, if you're in bed, it's a good place to kick into a lucid dream state, which is really fun. I had a ton of lucid dreams last night, and super interesting for another video. But and then you slowly, allow yourself to come back. When you start to breathe again, reconnect with this self. And little by little, you come up through the water and you come back out, and there's this beautiful starry sky. And if you want, you can like have a little raft. The monks are there, they start to chant again. Oh, they're there, Or you can say, hey, you guys, you can be quiet. I just want quiet, and I want to see the stars, and I'm going to lie on a raft, this cool raft, really comfortable, and I'm just going to float in the oceans and look up at the stars and maybe go to sleep. Or I may want to hang out with the monks, do some chanting and just feel that vibration of the voice through you. Energize you, do some healing work. Focus on anywhere where you feel like you've had injuries or pain, and now focus all that energy, that vibrational energy, to heal that part of your body or to fix your cells. And then little by little, you come back and you're back in Central Park. And you see, this is what's amazing, like, as you get deep into this stuff, everything just goes away. And it's just, it's a wonderful practice, and you can do any journeys you want. I think the key is, like, always think about, like, not forcing, allowing. I do a lot of meditating when I'm swimming, and if you try too hard in the beginning, it's good to just start swimming and focus on each stroke, or if you're running or whatever exercise you're doing, focus on each step you're taking and not thinking about meditating, not thinking about going deep or anything. Just be like boom, 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 boom. And it's like the waves. It's good to let the wave just go through and not feel it. Maybe you'll feel it, maybe you don't, but don't worry about it. Little by little, engage it more, slow it down, start to feel it. So guide yourself down. And if you feel like in the other one I did, sometimes you feel like you could jump down really fast, and so that's always cool. You just create a hole, a big giant hole, and jump into it and go down 1,000 feet, and that'll bring you down really fast if you feel like you are in that state of mind. But generally, it's just bring yourself down. Take the time, enjoy the journey, bring yourself down quietly, slowly, little by little, engage deeper internally. Feel the sort of waves of love and gratitude replace any sort of stress or anger. And you'll find that you get much better at it. I mean, it really is a process, and the more you work on it, it becomes really, really sort of second nature, and it's really just a wonderful, wonderful experience, and it really does change how you perceive the world all the time in a really positive way. So with that, I'm going to wish you guys just an amazing, amazing day. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Go to my website at mindspans.com and sign up, and this way you'll get an email every time I launch a new video, because sometimes people don't get notified on YouTube. So this way you'll always get notified. I try to put something out every week. I'm going to get more focused on doing drops on Thursdays. So you should expect an email every Thursday with my latest video. And I'm also thinking about doing interviews with other practitioners and sort of engaging with more people that way. So have a phenomenal journey. You're amazing. You can do amazing things, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. So have a great day. Thank you.